2024 Farm Progress Show, Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, talking with the folks at Sukup right now. Jason Arndt joining us, and thanks so much for taking the time to visit with us here at the show.
Well, thank you for coming.
So we were talking before we got on camera here, talking about some of the things that you guys have brought to the show and some of the messages you're bringing. I mean, the equipment obviously is the main thing, but one of the big things that we're talking about here and hearing from you guys is about safety on the farm. Not only are you talking about, but you're showing the products that do it. So let's talk first of all about that safety initiative, whether that is for the grown-ups or for the kids as well, to know what they need to do when they're out there around some of this equipment.
Yeah, so Sukups takes a huge, they put a huge emphasis on safety, on-farm safety, whether we talk about our grain bins. We've got a not-passing pulley system that we put in our bins for a rescue system, whether it's our paddle sweep, which if you're not familiar with the paddle sweep, it takes out the auger flighting on the sweep that goes around the bin floor. It's a safe product, just eliminating some of the injuries that you'll see out on the farm. So we're always looking at what we can do to help the end user and be safer. Just in the last year, we've started an initiative for the kids. We've got a character that's called Bin the Bin. It's got some family members too, but we're trying to teach the young ones on the farm about the importance of farm safety, and just trying to hit them young and teach at a young age. And
the bins, there's something that, for as big as they are in a stationary as they are, you don't think about them being a huge safe. There's not much moving parts. There's nothing like that. But you got to think about when they're being used. That's when the danger is. Just the grain inside is what is so deadly. And unfortunately, we still hear stories about that still to this day, about people getting trapped in the grain.
That's exactly right. And I used to be a volunteer fire department member in my local community. And unfortunately, I was a part of two bad accidents in my time on the fire department. And we are always telling people, don't go in the bin alone. Make sure somebody knows where you're at. Every time you hear about it, they didn't know where that person was, and by the time they found out, it was too late. When bin equipment is relatively safe, but when it's in use, I mean, that corn and grain, it's just like quicksand. Mm-hmm. We're constantly teaching and preaching safety. But everybody gets in a hurry, and they lose track of what they're doing, and sometimes safety gets cut. But we want to tell all of our customers, whether they're our customers or not, but all the farmers, just be safe and take that extra minute to go the safe route, and instead of being in a hurry. So
and the thing is, when you look at some of the injuries that can occur, whether it's being hit by machinery or a power takeoff, grain entrampment is probably one of the most preventable ones when you really think about it. It doesn't take long. Obviously, technology has gotten better over the years on how you can do that. But I even remember growing up, my dad, I thought he was silly at first. He'd have a bunch of braided ropes that he would have attached to the ladder on the inside that it would be really tight, that if you got away from it, you could at least get a hold of it. Yep. And you didn't have to worry. And it's very preventable.
Yeah, it is. And like I say, it just comes down to being in a hurry. And, everybody gets pretty wound up during the fall, and so
it's a short window.
It's a short window. Everybody's trying to get the most done in a day, but it's just taking that extra minute and going, hey, this isn't worth what I'm doing here, because everybody thinks it's not going to happen to them. And so we do something similar with the not passing pulley, right, which I'd like to show you in our bin. We've got a design of it, but it's something that we provide in the bin. Our competition does not, but it's something that we felt was important to add to the bin. It's every one of them we sell it with, and we feel like we give them a safe product.
Well, tell us about that product, and we can show them here some clips of that as we're talking about. Tell us about that product.
So we have two different items in the bin. One is we call it a restraint anchor, and it goes right inside the bin at the roof, at the peak, or at the eave of the bin, right inside the manhole door. Mm-hmm. So you have a tie-off area, and then what we have at the peak, we have a pulley system that's fed to that anchor on the sidewall, so you can use that as a feeder line for like a rescue or some sort of a hold point, same as what you were talking about, to just make it a little bit safer for our farmers. Another thing that we're doing, and this is just lately, and I'm glad we're right in front of the door, but we have added these hooks right here that you see on the door. And the reason why we've done that is what we've seen out on the farm is a lot of individuals will go open up their doors and then they won't latch them all the way. And then what happens is they start filling up the bin, and this outer skin is the only thing holding that door shut. So unless you have these hammers over the pins and sitting right, this door will not shut right.
Okay.
And so it'll go through here, locks down, and you know you've got your door sealed tight. Prevents from just having that little bit of miscommunication. Like I say, this door will not shut unless those inner panels are set and seated. So,
and that's good, because you not necessarily even just miscommunication, but the thing is, when you go and you're on your 12th, 15th load from the field, you think it's second nature that, okay, I know that's been taken care of, I can go ahead and start dumping or unloading or whatever it is you're doing. You think that's been taken care of, and someone may not have gotten to it yet, and so now you've got that extra point of safety right there.
Yep, and it happens. It can happen to any of us.
I know you brought up the paddle sweep too. Comparing that to the auger sweep, obviously we know the safety was paramount, but what are we seeing for performance of that too, compared to those old auger sweeps that we were used to seeing?
The capacity is better than the regular sweep. But like I say, so the paddle sweep kind of came from the commercial market. Zero entry sweep is what they call it in the commercial market, and we've adapted it to the farm market. And we tell them to make 2 passes with it, and really all you have left when you're done is just a little bit of corn along the outside. You can take a leaf blower, blow it right to the middle. There's just no need to get in the bin with that paddle sweep. And even if you are, the paddles are a lot safer than the auger flighting that's turning in the bin. So it does have a little added cost to it, but at the end of the day, one accident pays for that pretty quickly. So, and there's so many farmers that have hired hands on the farm, and so to have that peace of mind that there's not something in there that can hurt them it helps.
So, looking at going back to the paramount, the offerings you guys have, and that would be the bins. Obviously, they're talking that we should get some decent yields this year. Farmers are probably looking at those prices and thinking they may want to hang on to them. So obviously, grain storage is going to be paramount. Obviously, pushing the envelope to get anything done by fall harvest. But if folks are going to look at upgrading that storage system, what kind of things can they know about Sukup that they can be assured of?
Well, we're the only family-owned business in the grain bin industry, and we treat our customers like that. Whether we're talking about safety and doing the added features, we work with a dealer network that is very, very personable to the end user. Our grain bins are going to be a heavier bin. We take safety that serious. All of our equipment is engineered, very well engineered, but we stand behind our products. We're still one of the only companies out there that has somebody answering the phone when you call in, and our dealers know our employees by first name, and we know our dealers by first name. And, we try to make those connections with people, not only selling products, but selling relationships as well.
And the one thing I've always found interesting with the Sukup family is the fact that usually when you think of the people who are sitting in the offices making the big decisions, sometimes they feel like a disconnect from the company, but not here. I mean, your boss is still trying to do it bigger, better, and he's like almost like a kid in a candy store when he's talking about improving grain storage.
That is absolutely right, and our ownership is in on every meeting, whether it's about safety, whether it's our bin meeting every week, our material handling meeting. Our ownership is in there. They want to make sure we're given the best value, the best product out there. Always trying to think of the next thing, whether it is safety or just innovation. We want to keep people out of the bins. And so our focus is on innovation to keep farmers out of the bin and be able to store their grain, keep it at optimal condition. Because right now, like you said, market prices are down. Farmers are going to want to store their grain, capitalize on those times in the market where it spikes up for a couple of days. They can lock it in and make some very good profits, and so we want to help them do that, and whatever we can do to help them manage their grain and keep it in great condition, we want to do.
All right, if folks can't make it to the Farm Progress Show but want to start that conversation about what Sukup's products can do for their operation, where do they go to start that?
You can go online, www.sukup.com. and you can go on we have a dealer locator there, so put your zip code in there and it'll show you the 2 closest dealers to your area. Go on there and that's where you get the ball rolling.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us
All
today.
right, thank you very much.